Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Susie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sharing My Truth Pod. You're here with Mel and Susie. And here's a sweet little friendly reminder to subscribe to this pod wherever you're listening to it. We come out with episodes every Wednesday, every hump day, if you're naughty. And you can go follow us at Sharing My Truth Pod on all of the socials, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can also go to sharemytruth.com where you can share your own truths, stories, and opinions with us. Hey, babes.
Hello, Danny.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm marvelous. I'm amazing.
Oy vey. It's like the holidays are here and it's stressful as fuck. And this is keeping me sane right now.
Oh,
Truly.
that's nice. Yeah, it does get a little, nutty, doesn't it?
It gets a little nutty.
People get a little nutty.
Yeah, I was at the mall today and I was like, literally want to kill you. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, why? I was there for way too long. You know, when you start going stir crazy,
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
I need to get the hell out of
Need
here.
some natural light.
Holy cow. It's
Oh, yeah.
horrible to
Oh, yeah.
just be in there with all the folk of who want to slap, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just in a mood. But anyways, we have a little bit of a controversial epi right now. It's been all over TikTok mainly. I have seen it on Instagram as well. And what's funny about this, guys, is that Mel actually brought this up to me because Mel is much more on TikTok than she is on Instagram. And when Mel brings it up on TikTok, you know it's good, right? So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there has been a lot of videos where there's two young, gorgeous girls, and they talk about proudly, as it seems, that they are going to be sleeping or then have slept with 100 men, 1,000 men, and they're obviously filming it
In a day.
in one day, on for their OnlyFans pages. I'm assuming.
I think the original idea is, for promotion, to make it relatable, one of them said, so that people who watch their OnlyFans can kind of see themselves in the videos because they are in the videos.
I think there's this very, and this is why I call it controversial, because we're in this very hard part of society where it's like, okay, yes, feminism, 100%. If you are in charge of your own body and no one's making you do this, and you're the one who's making money from it, it's your page, it's your choice, then like, yeah, who are we to say anything about anything, right? Like, it is your life and you have to make these decisions. And if you want to do this, like 100%, that's your choice. And if also, I think this is the hardest part that I have about it. It's like, and especially if you're getting pleasure from this, and this is maybe your kink or your fetish, and you want to get railed by 100 guys or 1,000 guys in a day, and that's actually what you want to do, because there are women like that who actually get pleasure out of that.
I don't know about 100 or 1,000, but
right.
Few.
It's exactly. So,
Someone.
and these guys are strangers.
Yeah.
These are not 1,000 men that these women know.
Yeah.
These are strangers, which is even more concerning.
Guys off the street.
Yeah, it's
like anybody.
For me, and I'm a very sex positive person. If you've been listening to the pod, you know that I'm a very sex positive person. I'm a huge pleasure advocate of your own, like owning your own pleasure, 100%, whatever that means, as long as it's not hurting anyone else. But this just gives me the heebie-jeebies for whatever reason, and I don't want to come into that like judgmental place, right? I'm really trying not to go into that, but I just want to like these women have fucked up. If there was any other, like, we were talking about it a little bit, and I will shut the fuck up in a second and let you speak, but the body holds a score of the trauma. Like, these women are giving themselves trauma even if they don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's just so hard for me to watch that and just go like, oh no, these women are taking ownership of their own pleasure and they want to fucking do this because they want to do it. It's like, I don't think that is the case. It just really doesn't feel like that. It feels really gross. It feels like they're doing it for just like, I don't know it's just so gross to me. It's just so sad. What do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, that's why I brought it up to you, because they're actually two British women.
Mm-hmm.
So one's called Bonnie Blue, and the other one, I believe, is called Lily Phillips. I think that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're sort of around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
They both look very young.
yeah, and really
They're so
wholesome,
beautiful.
really like lovely, so very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And they are OnlyFans models, if that's the the term.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously, well, neither of us know what really is on their account, but
Yeah,
I think
we don't subscribe.
I think it's,
We're not subscribers.
I think it's obviously pornographic in nature. It's not just a few pics in there. I think it's like interactional film. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but this has been like going on in the UK for quite some time, because they're both British, and particularly the one, Bonnie Blue, has been on all sorts of shows and stuff, because she kind of glibly says, you know, I want to just make my account and my content relatable. So I think one of the things she said is she has a lot of particularly very young men watching. So she wants to have sex with let young men have sex with her, like it's 100 or more than 100, so that they can see themselves having sex with her. And then this other girl has followed suit, Lily Phillips, who's also an OnlyFans model, star, whatever you want to call it. I think they've both, or particularly Bonnie Blue's, made a lot of money out of OnlyFans. And I think, and she's famously recently had sex with 100 men in one day. So I think they just sort of go onto their social media. They drive them mostly towards X, you know, formerly known as Twitter, because you can be a lot more sort of liberal on X, formerly known as Twitter, than you can on Instagram and TikTok. Things you can't say, you can say there. And, you know, as far as I know, guys just sign up, and literally it's like randos from the street. You know, it's like, you know, literally, do you want to come and fuck me? And, you know, if you think about it, mathematically 100 in however many hours of the day, because it's, you know, probably the day, not like all night, whatever, you've literally got a couple of seconds or a minute per guy. It's just, well, who's getting anything out of this? Like, really?
Well, see, that's the problem I have. It's like, these women have obviously never had good sex in their entire lives, or they would not be doing this.
Well, I think the reason I brought it up to you is what I see as very interesting is that it started a whole argument from all sides. So from feminists raging, oh my God, because I think one or two of these women has used the term my body, my choice. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is not what that term means. And what's interesting is the kind of feminist or sex positive people like yourself who are like, you know, live life, do what you do, have completely got the ick over this, as have the sort of moral sort of brigade, you know, the people sitting on the sort of more traditional side, like, no, that's gross. And like everyone thinks it's gross. On either side of the argument, male, female.
Men are still signing up for it, though.
Yeah, but that's the point. And I think what the feminists are saying is the point about my body, my choice is, number one, that you're getting pleasure out of this. It's not just about the man, which is not what this is about. This is, and that you're like, these guys who are signing up. I mean, of course they're signing up.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's completely gross, but of course they're signing up. And I think one of them is mostly like students, like very young, like university students or young men, and of course they are. I mean, come on. And so you are like literally undoing so much good. So that's why the argument of the sort of feminist side of it, they're coming at it, all sides are agreeing and have the ick, which I think is interesting.
Well, and but there is that thing of like, it is their body, their choice.
It 100% is.
As long as no one's making them do this. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
that's the thing that's been going on for a while is this actually some kind of adult film company and this is some promo stunt and they're actually not doing it? But I think, I don't know, because I'm not sure anybody really knows what's going on, but it does seem they are, you know, OnlyFans, very, very successful OnlyFans models. And they're doing this for promotion purposes. So you can say, well, you know, it's business. And you're like, okay, you know, fine. But it's kind of, I think the way they're going about it, the way they're talking about it is just kind of gross.
Because it's not about their pleasure. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, women and men, you're not able to reach an orgasm for women by
absolutely
a man fucking coming in you for 30 seconds.
And not 100 of them. I mean,
like, it's not gonna happen. By the 5th one,
you can't
your
feel
pussy's
any.
gonna be sore, babe.
Probably like the 3rd or 4th one, you're not going to feel anything. And these are also men you have had no interact, like you don't know, like
No, you probably don't even know their
you
name.
might as well have met them in a public toilet. You don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And
also, we obviously haven't seen the video, but we are assuming, hoping, praying that they're all wearing condoms.
really, they must be.
But as we know, condoms are not 100% safe.
Well,
obviously.
no, and just
you can still get an STI,
Yeah.
especially if they're coming on you or whatever the fuck is going on. Like, you can still get an STI, you can still get pregnant, and then you wouldn't even know who's the father.
Well, 100% there's that. I mean, it's just the whole thing. It just has this very gross vibe about it. I think where the argument, where the sort of, it's all getting a bit lost and it's just like you see it and you're like, ugh, whatever side of the argument you're on, is that these women are doing it as marketing. They're not doing it. They don't give a shit about their pleasure. They're doing this to make sure their OnlyFans account hits record. They make lots of money. That's why they're doing it. So it's the same argument. And I have no issue with anybody who has an OnlyFans account. If you're a porn star, whatever, you're doing what you're doing to make a living. That's entirely up to you. That's really nothing to do with me. And that is your business. And obviously, if you're a porn star or an OnlyFans model, I guess that's the word, you have to promote your stuff. You have to get ahead. And now what they were taught, I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, is because specifically OnlyFans has become so saturated for obvious reasons that it's very difficult, like any social media or any kind of platform, to get yourself ahead of everyone else. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because there's a bajillion beautiful girls, there's however many girls with blah, 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 and men, and there's lots of people doing the same stuff. So how do you make yourself stand out? So they're obviously doing something which is a marketing stunt. The fact that we're talking about it is it's working.
I know.
And so men are going to go on to OnlyFans. They're going to look for Bonnie Blue, who's famous now, and Lily Phillips, and they're going to look for their videos, and they can charge whatever the hell they like.
Yeah.
So it is totally promotion. And I think a lot of people who are being extremely sanctimonious about this have lost sight of the fact this is promotion. This is for money. The problem we have is that most things you do for money, you don't actually have somebody entering you. That they're literally leaving their mark on you. And it's at levels, it's just the numbers. And this one girl, Lily Phillips, now wants to have sex with 1,000 men in one day, which, I mean, you just wonder, how is that even logistically possible?
Like, the beautiful thing about OnlyFans was, and we just spoke about this before we started the pod, is that, like, the great thing about OnlyFans was, like, it's like a cam website, right? Like, cam girl
girls,
site.
yeah.
So it's like, you don't even have to fuck anyone. You don't even have to take your clothes off if you didn't want to. Like, OnlyFans was amazing because you literally were super safe. You could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
You did it in your own place. You had a complete control of your money, besides, like, obviously OnlyFans gets a cut. But, like, it was just such a great idea for sex workers.
100%, yeah. To be safe.
To be so safe and still make amazing money if they wanted to. And now it just makes me so sad that, like, these women think that this is what they have to do that's what it feels like to become these, like, huge names in the OnlyFans or porn industry. And it's like, you don't have to fuck a bunch of guys and, like, not doing it for you, but doing it for them. Like, a lot of men I know, because they've told me, like, they love watching a woman get pleasure. Like, they love the fact that women get pleasure from sex. This is purely advertising and, like, pushing the idea that women don't need pleasure for sex. And, like, it's the completely wrong idea. This is, like, so backwards. Like, we're so going backwards on this, and that's what really fucking pisses me off when I think about it.
Yeah, I think that's the feminist argument, or the normal rational male.
I feel like I'm not even trying to be a feminist about it. I'm just like, there's two people in this.
Yeah.
Why is it all going to be all about the one person?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's particularly
promoting that,
particularly Bonnie Blue said a lot of that. Like, she said stuff like, I believe that women who don't have sex with their husbands are lazy, and she's made all these sort of kind of oddly kind of very old-fashioned sort of comments.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of weird things going on here. Is that she is basically a porn star. I don't know what her content is, but I assume it is pornographic on OnlyFans, having sex with I assume people she knows originally, a bit like you're a porn star, right? I mean, I assume that's what it is. Now, what's happened is, and most of her audience, or all of her audience, is men. So she's decided to find a way to stand out from everyone else, to get lots of promotion, essentially in a free way. And to get the most visibility she can. And she succeeded. She has an OnlyFans account. Her clientele or her audience is male. And how is she going to get them interested and relating to her? Well, she's found a way to do it. So you can say, okay, you've achieved that. I think what's disturbing us, even on the sex positive kind of very open-minded side of the scale, is like, is it really worth it? Like, you could make a lot of money, but you are going to have to live. Like, you think this is all the way she comes across is this is very transactional. It's just sex. It's just a penis going in a hole. But, she's only 25. You're going to be, I don't know, in a year, how many men you're going to have slept with that you cannot remember, that there was no pleasure in any of those interactions.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah, although,
even though she doesn't realize it right now.
If she was a prostitute or she is a porn star, there is no pleasure. It's a job, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think what we're finding so difficult is the amount of men. So, we're used to, like, I don't think we know many porn stars' names in the mainstream, but people are used to the idea of porn stars, and some of the years have become very successful, and sort of become more in the mainstream. But there isn't. It's more like this idea. Okay, they're in a movie, and certain people watch the movie, and they do their job, and they kind of go home. And it's a movie, it's entertainment. I think what she's done here and Lily Phillips the same, is because she's brought it into the real world. I think that's what we're really grossed out by. This isn't a movie where she's got 5 actors that she knows.
We know that she's not being respected.
Exactly.
Like,
it's
these
not
aren't professionals.
It's not a movie.
Yeah.
And whatever people think about pornography, like in the States or even in Europe, it's highly regulated. Everyone's been checked. They don't just have some random person turning up on set. There is a script. There is a blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows.
There is a contract. You have to sign
100%.
it. You have to make sure that everyone's 18 for one.
And tested and the whole thing. And, generally, I mean, I don't know, but I don't think there are many movies where somebody's had sex with 100 men. And you're doing this movie. You've contracted to do it. It's a job. And it's with other actors in the industry. And that's what they do. And they know how to behave. And they know how to do things in the right way. Whereas this is having sex with 100 men. Literally, you could be, let's say the guy in the grocery store and a guy who's, I don't know, in a cafe, and a guy who it could be any cross-section of mixture of people.
The horrible, gross thing, I think, that is actually what I'm starting to think about it now, is also this could end so horribly, because I don't know if they have security in wherever the fuck they're doing it, right?
I have no idea.
If you don't have security, or even if you do, there's 100 men coming in to have their way with you. That can, and if you're like, oh, guys, just hold on, I need a break, and they're like, no, fuck you.
Right.
It can turn out
100%
in a horrible way, because you don't get a break unless they say so. There's 100 against 2 or 1. It's like,
yeah.
It's holy shit, you are so unsafe unless, and you think these random guys are going to respect your wishes now? No.
I think, and yeah, just the testosterone in the kind of room or the space or wherever they are. And I think they showed, there's a documentary that's now been made about Lily Phillips, the second one. And the thing that was so weird is she's talking to the documentary guy, and she's almost crying, and he's being very obviously good to try and get her to speak, but it's a bit like, why are you crying? You can put yourself,
dramatic.
Yeah, but we know why you're crying, but you put yourself in this crazy situation, and then nobody asked you to do this. You're doing this to promote yourself.
Yeah,
we understand marketing and promotion. I think we're taking this a little bit far. And then they sort of showed a picture of the room, and it's just disgusting because it's all these tissues and stuff. And that's the thing of whatever's in the tissues. Is that like, to me, the whole like all these men who, I think that was my first question to you, was like, do they all have to be clean? And you're like, no, of course not.
Who's gonna check?
So
Who's checking?
they're not clean.
No.
Bodily fluid. I mean, just the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the way they talk about it, just like, oh yeah, and just and you know, oh, just come in and put your bag down, and I'll just lay down and take your trousers off. And it's just like what? Like it's
Well, just imagine being the first guy, and then imagine being the 100th guy.
Ugh.
Right? How are you gonna pick the order? Do you get a goodie bag at the end of it?
Oh, jeez.
Like,
I mean, it's. I think, you know, they're saying. I understand. They're saying we're doing this for marketing, kind of like essentially fuck you. I mean, you know, not.
Yeah.
No
Fuck
pun
the public.
intended.
Yeah.
Is like, I have my OnlyFans account. I'm trying to reach my audience. These people, these youngish men, are my audience, and you know, I want to get them, you know, interested in me. I want to be visible.
Yeah.
But you're just like, there's marketing and there's marketing. Like, is this worth it? And this may seem worth it now. Like, you're going to make lots and lots of money, but you are going to find it very difficult to have a relationship. You're going to have it very difficult to get over it. All sorts of stuff. And I think we've talked about this in a previous episode where we talked about OnlyFans. And I said to you, I have no issue if that's what you choose to do. You know, as a, you know, personally, I don't judge anyone. I mean, you do. Of course, we all judge people, but I mean, it's up to you. If you want to do OnlyFans,
we can judge, but we're not like, okay, like, you have to stop. It's like, no, okay, we get that you're fucking having control over your.
But that's the thing. To me, OnlyFans, and even being a porn star, is you actually have control.
Yes.
But particularly OnlyFans, because I assume most of the time you're either. I think a lot of OnlyFans accounts, they're having sex with their partners anyway, but they're choosing who they're having sex with. And a porn star, you're in a professional kind of environment. We may all think, well, but no, it is professional, right? And people are making a choice to do that. And it's not random people, and it's very safe and blah, blah, blah. It's not something I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a porn star.
You could be like the hot little MILF that comes in and whips someone but doesn't fuck them.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
I think you could do that.
I just think there's a level of confidence which I also admire, which I just wouldn't have that confidence to be.
There's
doing
so
that on
much
screen.
to admire about sex workers in general.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very hard work.
This
is why they're called sex workers.
Yeah, there's another girl on TikTok who is called, and now it's going to escape me, but people who watch TikTok will see it. And she is supposedly a sex worker, and she's got like 1 million followers.
Right.
She's an Australian girl.
Right.
And the way she talks is absolutely hilarious, because she has to, like, you know, she says, oh, he wants the back door and stuff like that. It's like she has to like talk around it, obviously.
Right.
But it's amazing. She has a bloody TikTok account, and she's a sex worker.
Right. Like, there's his ways. I that's also what I can't believe. I can't believe they're able to promote their stuff on TikTok.
This is the point I'm
like,
making.
How is this possible?
But you know, other people who are just like trying to market something really innocuous, like a vibrator or a underwear or something like, they get banned.
Yeah.
But you can be a sex worker and you can have sex with 100 men, and apparently, according to Meta and all the others, it's completely fine. And you're just like, what?
Yeah.
I just think, look, this isn't about their pleasure. I think that everyone has to understand that. This isn't about their pleasure. They're marketing their account to their audience, and they're getting
Which
themselves.
is men who don't care about the pleasure.
100% men who want to shove it in a hole.
Yeah.
And who just want to see her. They want to have sex with her, because then they're going to go and watch her and think, I had sex with her.
Yeah.
Like, I was there.
Yeah.
And then that's an added weird fuckery thing in there. But I think what has grossed so many people out is how mainstream this has become. So if it was just like, you know, like, for example, X is a place where a lot of porn stars have always advertised, because X, you know, it's much more liberal with a lot of its wording and stuff. And, you know, if you know where to go and that's what you want to go and do, that's fine. But the whole rest of the world doesn't see it, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit like OnlyFans. If you have an account and you go on and you subscribe to whomever, well, that's fine. You're doing that. The rest of the world doesn't see it, right?
Yeah.
But they have literally brought this completely into the mainstream. I mean, you know, I've seen Bonnie Blue on a show called This Morning in the UK, which is the national like morning TV show.
Right.
She's on that, for goodness sake. So it's completely been made mainstream, which is why everyone's piled into the argument, sort of forgetting why they're doing it in the first place. But I think before, everything was kind of in its lane, and this has become like everyone's seen it, and we're just like, and of course, I think a lot of mothers, because I think particularly one of them talks about having sex with, you know, men who are quite young but legal. Well, she uses terms I don't really want to repeat them, but and so obviously mothers are just like, holy shit, you know, I have sons, and what are they learning about? What are they learning about women? And I think that's concerning, because a lot of conversation around porn is this one side, that it's entertainment, and lots of people, and the vast majority of people watch porn, they pretend they're not watching porn. And then a lot of people say there's too much porn, because obviously, you know, you can get it everywhere now, and that young boys watch, you know, Pornhub and all these other things, and it's just so easy to access.
I mean, the parent thing is kind of a weird argument for me, because I'm like, it's the parent's job to educate your children. If you don't want, like, there are ways that you should be talking to your kid. They shouldn't be learning everything from TikTok and Instagram. If they are, that's 100% on the parent, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but like, it's hard. It's because it's the same argument as like when Britney Spears first came out, and every parent of a little girl was like, "You're such a bad influence for my little girl," and she's like, "You don't let her watch it." Like, what are you fucking talking? It's not my fault.
Yeah.
So like, that's an interesting argument that I don't know if I agree with, but I do agree that these girls are putting this into the world, that this is okay, and it's, I mean, it's okay for them, but men have to know that like women's pleasure exists, and it is important when it, in terms of like a sex in general, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. So I'm just looking at some stuff about them. Is it doesn't present a healthy or anything
there's
view
nothing
of
healthy
sex.
about this.
And I think this whole argument about, you know, my body, my choice, obviously that's, you know, a lot also to do with the abortion laws in the United States. But the point of that was really that you as a woman today in 2024, it's up to you how you have a relationship, and as a man as well, it's up to you what you do and how many people you sleep with. That's completely up to you, and it is nobody's business, which I think is absolutely correct. You have one partner, 10 partners, you know, whatever. But this is like, I think what's disturbing people is because it is totally trivializing sex, which, you know, in our recent episode, we talked with Dr. Bastian, and we're talking about how important sexual health is to your mental health and your physical health and all of that. This is completely making it to be this kind of gross transactional thing. There is no representation of female pleasure here at all. This is just about the man literally getting his rocks off for a minute or whatever he's got, which is what women have fought against for a long time. And to be fair, also men have tried to say, no, most of us are not like this. Most men who enjoy seeing women having pleasure, and most men, and we've talked about this, the whole enjoyment of sex is to see that you can make a woman
come.
but feel great about herself, you know? And this is not that. It's the opposite. This is the ultimate seedy, gross thing, and that's why everyone has a problem with it. But it is, they are, and I think the other thing that a lot of people have a problem with is like, oh my god, if this is what you have to do to market your OnlyFans account,
I know,
where
people
are we going with
completely
this?
turned off about it.
Yeah, where are we going with this? Because, you know, like we said, to me, OnlyFans, or like talking about the cam girls, the great thing was they're behind a screen, nobody's touching them, there's no violence, there's no danger, they're doing whatever, you're getting money, everyone's winning, but we're not meeting in real life. And this is like taking it from behind the camera into real life.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that's what's disturbing people, and into a real setting that is not a nice setting. So it's also making men look pretty horrible. This is 100 men out of however many men, and it's making men look bad, right? And it's not doing anything for female.
Right. I think it's just not doing anything good for anyone.
No.
At this point.
No,
it's like, what did these men get for 1 second of?
I have no idea.
It's just like, you could have actually good sex with someone if you just tried a little bit harder and didn't sign up for this weird, gross thing. I don't know.
Yeah. And what does it say about anyway? So yeah, I mean, we just want. I thought it was an interesting thing because it's been going on and people have been like raging about it, and then very recently it's become more intense because this other woman, Lily Phillips, has sort of come into the thing after Bonnie Blue, and I haven't watched it, but there's a documentary or something in the UK, and it's just like I think everyone's just like, what has the world come, like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, to sum it all up, if we can, I don't know if we're able to, but I mean, some of it, it's like, just remember, guys and girls, that pleasure should be for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you're into that.
Yeah.
Right? The best sex I've ever had is when I am interested in my partner's orgasm and he's interested in mine.
Obviously,
and
yeah.
that's, I mean, yes, obviously, but also if this is happening, maybe not so obvious, right? Like,
No, I agree. Yeah.
but like, that's the truth. Like, if you are so happy to make your partner happy and them the same, it's going to be such a more, like, a better experience. And especially if you know that everything is safe and healthy and there's no possible other bodily fluids happening. Like, it's just like, just be safe out there. Don't make a rash decision. Obviously, this is a very interesting, weird, niche topic happening right now. Maybe in a week, we don't even know what the fuck is going on, right? But yeah, it's crazy. We want to know your guys' opinion. What you guys think about this? Maybe you guys were one of these 100 guys listening.
Well, Lily Phillips has got to sleep with 1,000 men.
Oh, great.
So
I don't want to give her any more, like, you know,
she doesn't want me to say the name again.
Publication. I'm just like, I'm over these fucking girls. I'm like, you guys, like, we can do better than this. That it really fucking pisses me off, to be honest. But we have a little tea today.
We do.
Right, Mel? So I want you to tell us what's the tea.
Well, the tea is kind of does follow on from this. I wanted to share some of our comments.
Oh
on
God,
YouTube.
fuck me.
And I just think so.
Most of our comments are on YouTube, right?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
It gets a lot more, you know, people get a lot more excited.
Men get a lot of excitement off YouTube.
They do.
Gentlemen.
But so this is just from a short we posted, and it was from our episode about cougars and toy boys. And we were just talking about, and this is short, so it's obviously short. And it's just we were talking about how women today, when they're in their 50s, look a lot younger because compared to sort of 30 years ago,
Yeah.
the sort of golden girls kind of idea. Like today, you know, you can, you know, you're not sort of forced to have sort of frumpy clothes.
Yeah,
and
go watch or listen to the episode, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're looking to be Jennifer Lopez now, not, you know. So, you know, women look younger, and the episode was about older women and younger men, right? Anyway, so we just said you know, like 50s aren't becoming the new 40. And it's because that's what's a lot of people are saying. I'd like to say in the episode and in the short, because obviously I am the person over 50 in this, is that at no point did I say I wanted to be young. And I've never said that. And I would never say that. And I'm fully cognizant of the fact that I don't look 25. So you don't have to come for me. But anyway, one, I'm assuming, gentleman, said that 50 is not the new 40, and he's entitled to his opinion.
He's
That's
so
fair
mad
enough.
about it.
And he said, and you know, this does sort of lead into what we've just been talking about and where some gentlemen have their minds. We need more mothers and women leaders teaching the next generation. I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. Okay, whatever. But then it's the next bit that I'm just like, okay. He said, we don't need old women trying to still be whores. And I have to say, I did find it extremely amusing.
It kind of is funny.
And it's funny. And then, you know, we had a little back and forth with this gentleman. And
he might be listening now.
He might be. And I really hope you are because, you know.
I don't know. Women over 50 can still be a whore, and that's fine.
And that's basically what I said. And I mean, you know, he's entitled to his opinion. I just, he can say whatever he likes.
Yeah.
And I, because I did respond to this, is that I said, you know, we had a few comments. And then I said, but women over 50 are not old, and it's really their business, not yours, what they do in their private lives. And I don't think that's very, contentious. And then he told me, "You are old." So I assume he was saying to me,
He
or
knew you
maybe
was you.
maybe generically women over 50 are old. He said, "I'm 41. I'm old. I have a six pack, but I don't pretend or think I'm still a young buck. Face reality." And I just thought the thing that I thought was kind of funny in it is the necessity.
But women in their 50s still have a sex life.
Exactly, but
What are you trying to say?
The necessity to put people down, which I thought was
Right.
kind of interesting. Like, what is the point of that? And, all we were saying is that women in their 50s and 60s, present it, when we, thank God, finally getting those images in the media,
Yeah.
look great. They don't look 25, which is fine. They don't look 30, but they look great. They have relationships and they've got, have sex lives and whatever. And this is all very normal.
Do you think if a
But he was
woman,
upset.
do you think if a woman, like if these two girls we just spoke about, were in their 40s and 50s, would we have a different conversation about this? Because they have
Yeah.
their whole lives ahead of them.
Yeah, probably.
Would we, if they were 50 and 40, would we be like, oh, these old whores?
Well,
or like, what would it be?
Well, it's funny because I absolutely detest the word whore.
I know you do.
I can't
Yeah.
stand it. And what troubles me is if this guy wants to say you're old when you're 50, okay, you're clearly not young. To me, old is like 80, and I think you can live a very long life and you're 50.
Well, you're like middle-aged.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
I'm very happily middle-aged, in the middle of life.
literally you
and
have everything at your fingertips
like
now.
to say to this gentleman, all my family members live to a very old age. So I've got another 50 years
Maybe
to go.
this guy's only got 5 years left. That's why he's mad about it.
But, I just... okay, we can argue about whether you're young or whatever, but to then go to whore is what troubles me, because you want to have sex, that makes you a whore. What does that make it? Anyway, whatever. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of amusing. And so going back to these girls, I think the reason we're troubled is because they're both really pretty. They're 25 years old.
Well, if they were ugly, would we be talking about other things too?
Well, I suppose that's the complete contradiction, and
like if these were ugly women and we're just like, okay, do your thing, girl, get yours, good for you, would we be having a different conversation? Is it because that they are like pretty and they have their whole lives ahead of them and we think that they're smarter than this?
Oh yeah, I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, it's sad.
Which makes it all the more disturbing.
Yeah, like if these women were 50, 40, I'd be like, good for you, girls. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because like, I do think, like you've had your whole life to like to have to reach the maturity level of like, this is actually something that you are like okay doing for your life. It's like at early 20s, you don't know, like,
yeah, 100%. And I think
don't know the consequences of your actions yet.
Disturbed us is we saw this clip earlier today. I was showing you, or maybe my husband was showing you, about this famous divorce lawyer who was on Steve Bartlett, and he tells the story of this 90-year-old man who left his wife that he'd been married to for like 70 years and went off with a young woman like myself of 50 something. Yeah,
the whore.
And the whore,
no.
Exactly. And the divorce lawyer said he was so troubled by it because he's like, this man is 90 and he's still being led by his dick.
Yeah.
And that he thought, and he said it troubled him because he thought, I guess he'd had issues with that. And he's like, I thought that by that age you would like, you wouldn't be doing that. And I think that's the problem with these two women, is that men are largely ruled by a different head. And these two women,
these men are not thinking about the consequences of these actions.
No.
They're just signing up for something fun. It's like going on a roller coaster ride.
But they're proving
2 seconds of fun.
They're proving the point that men need to,
think with their dicks.
Exactly. So there you go. That's what I have to say on all of that.
Well,
there's no conclusion. We're just like everyone, a little bit like.
It makes us feel better to talk about this stuff. I hope you guys feel the same way. It's because it's fair. So I find this very disturbing in a lot of ways. I wish it was just more about the girls and less about the guys. I think that's what's really bothering me. I want to know if it's bothering you guys too, or are you like on the fucking pro women, like they can do whatever the fuck they want with their bodies, or are you in a maybe they should be double thinking about that.
But it doesn't sell. The only thing that sells is beautiful young women, and men want to have sex with them. That's why it's working.
Yeah, but women can own their own pleasure.
Yeah, I know, but that's not what they're selling here.
No, but I know, but
Yeah.
that sells too. That's also what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
not in this context. That's
fucked up.
why it troubles us, because they're very attractive, and obviously men want to have sex with them because that's what men do, and that's completely normal. And it's like proving all these things that we don't want to be the truth.
Yeah.
And sex sells, and it's only
sex sells, but I'm against what this is selling.
Okay. She's against it.
I'm against it. I guess I figured that out.
She's made her point.
God damn it. Okay. Well, guys, it's fabulous to chat with you.
Yeah.
Mel, as always, darling.
Yes.
And we'll see you later.
We will.
Sharing My Truth Pod is so excited to partner with Vibrator.com, where the A in Vibrator is the number 8. This is an extremely exclusive code where no other podcast has it. If you go to Vibrator.com right now, use the code MS15, that's MS15 at Vibrator.com. You can now get 15% off anything in store. That's any sex toys for you, your partner, your neighbor, your mom. We don't judge. We don't care. Get it now. Go to the link in our bio, put in the code, and get jiggy with it.
Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod, and leave us a voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com, to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.